Welcome back to another War Selection 1v1. Now this is a fan game sent to me by Ausarcool, and he said that, he said in the Discord, because he sent me via Discord, there's an ultimate comeback, and indeed it was an ultimate comeback. It was actually a very good comeback. It was one of the it was a comeback which I didn't expect to happen, but I'm still glad it did. And this is exactly why. You should never give up in a War Selection game. You never know what's going to happen. You can still win despite the odds stacked against you. I've showed it in many of my games where the odds are stacked against you and you still can win. I'm going to skip time for a little bit, but before I get into the real meat of the game, I was going to say I apologize for not posting as often as I do. I am trying out new recording methods. As you saw with my intro, also I added the intro, and I'm trying to find an outro video. So I apologize for not posting as daily as I used to, but trust me, once I figure out my schedule and get enough recordings it will once again go back to a daily post. So just bear with me for a few days. I'm sure it'll be. I'm sure you guys can last for a couple days. So yeah, let's just get into it. So already we had a nice start. He was able to get his temple up real fast. A lot of workers, and he still has a lot of resources. This guy over here, green, looks like he's going stone warriors. As you see, he already has 4 fight pits and a barracks. And he built a stone cutter, so he definitely planned a stone rush. And already we see right here, Ausarcool was easily able to defend this one assault. Now, this was a very poor decision on Green's part of just sending in warriors like this. Look, as you see, he's attacking the armies like this. You don't do this in early mode. And he tries to run past, but again, he realizes that there's no point, and he lets all his soldiers die. Now these seem to be fully upgraded spearmen, because they are actually winning against Cool's spearmen. And Cool did the right. He does a lot of good decisions. He builds towers, internal towers, and external towers, defending not only his barracks but also his outer areas. And he also has a nice defensive location. You see, this is a large mountain right here. Like, they could still walk up and down it, but there's a mountain, so it prevents them from walking in certain points, thus forcing them to go into certain areas. But I see right here, Cool seems to be really hard pushing for his military. Now this right here, this would usually bankrupt. Oh, sorry, let me rephrase it. It wouldn't bankrupt something. It would make it harder to transition. That's the key right here. When dealing with situations like this, when attacking with nothing but agent spearmen, they're so easy to spam out and they're so cheap that sometimes people forget that these things en masse, they cost money. And if you're constantly spamming them out, you're constantly wasting resources. So it gets really difficult at times where you're constantly spamming out men, and you forget, oh, by the way, I need resources to transition. I see right here, he goes, lots of heavy spearmen, with, weak spearmen going, weak spearmen taking the brunt of the damage. And these are fully upgraded too. But he makes the right decision. Cool makes the right decision, and right here, he blocks them, because this is apparently the only way up the mountain. So he blocks them here. Now, it would be a good idea to build a wall. However, if you want to keep funneling them into a certain area, it's a good idea not to. And it prevents them from going around too, because really there's still a lot of places they can go around, like right here. As you see, he builds a wall here to prevent them, because they are able to go up here, as you can see. So he has a nice tree line defending himself, so it's so good. He immediately upgrades the forward tower, which is smart, very smart. He should have cool. You should have at least came over here and built some fishing boats. To be able to get the free food. Now, of course, you went West Asia, and Western Asia doesn't have the best of fishing, but it's still getting at least 5 fishing boats up for West Asia is always a good help. It gives that extra boost of food. Now, of course, it's really the poultry farm, or the tank is the barnyard that gives like the real amount of food. Because there are many times we're in West Asia where I try going just fishing boats, and it never works out. But it's always a good idea to have fishing boats if you have the capabilities to do so. Right here we see Green again. I see he's having a hard time transitioning. He does have. I understand what he's doing here, though. He built 1 barracks and then a bunch of. And he still has his minor barracks. He only upgraded 1, so that way he can immediately upgrade them if the need arises. But interesting here, he did not have any of his primitive workers though. And he's using, and this is a major problem also with Asia. He put way too many workers on a single poultry farm, so now they're all trying to gather a single one. But let's go back to the fight. It seems like, okay, so right here, it's perfect. He built ballistas to destroy the towers. Took a lot of ballistas. Ballistas aren't, well, to be fair, ballistas are probably the best to destroy towers, but still. What's happening here? Why do he has a lot of workers here for some reason. I don't know why he took all the workers off of his food or off his wood. Or I guess technically not, but he's over here. Oh, he ran out of iron. I see. Those were his iron workers. Yeah, that's a big problem, especially with Western Asia. But it seems like Green over here, he gets kind of smart. He comes over here away from the defenses, and you see there is a pathway up here. And you shouldn't have upgraded the pikemen, but I guess it doesn't really matter because they were able to upgrade pretty fast. But again, these are fully upgraded Western heavy spearmen, and medieval pikemen do nothing. Now the Mamelukes are a good idea. These Mamelukes are a good idea. They have great AoE attacks. But see, it doesn't look too good right now. Doesn't look too good. A lot of heavy spearmen coming in. These are full-blown upgrade heavy spearmen. And it even says noob. I feel like that's kind of a bad thing to say right now, especially what happens. You lost basically all your primitive workers. Yeah, he still had most of them. Luckily, these Sipaks and these Mamluks came into play because these Mamluks have great armor, great capabilities in armor and AoE. Full-on Mamluks can just mince any sort of spearmen that come. And he wasn't able to destroy the barracks either. Alright, so I took a couple things out of this. So one, it was, and you still have a nice population. You still haven't reached your population cap, but then again, it's probably because of how many have died. Alright, so there's already a problem here. So you lost all your houses. Luckily, you can just rebuild them. Houses aren't expensive, but the amount of houses you lost, there's a lot. And this guy pumped a lot of resources into these troops too. A lot of resources. Let's actually check his eco. Are you still actually doing pretty good on eco, all things considered? Although he's severely hurting on wood, which is expected because like he's pumping a lot into these units. And this is actually hurting him, but at the same time, he is gaining a lot, considering the fact he's just wiped a large portion of of the economy. Oof. Right here too. This is hard. Already we see you back. This is basically a siege at this point. This is turned into a siege. Essentially has turned into a siege. Not a very good one, because in fact you haven't reached late medieval yet, where I'm sure this guy probably has. So let's check. Yeah, he's already on his way to the medieval. Now luckily, this is actually a good thing though. He's actually ruined a huge portion of his economy. But then again, he hasn't been attacked at all, so he still has the workers to make it through. Now right here, this is a main... Okay, so this is often a problem that most people forget about East Asia. East Asian pikemen and spearmen, even fully upgraded, are weak. They're incredibly weak especially against Mamelukes. So you see, we're gonna see all these units immediately. Look at this, immediately wiped. This army stood no chance against the Mamelukes. There was no point. I don't know what he was doing here. I guess he was chasing the workers. But right here, a single Mameluke was able to hold the line for long enough time for the rest of the reinforcements to come in. And look at this. The army was completely wiped. This was a massive army that took so many more resources than just this amount of Sipaks and Mamelukes. Honestly, this was cheaper than the army that was sent over. This was the main problem that most people forget about East Asia. East Asia is not a country where you just spam out units like this. You don't do this. It really takes a toll on your resources because of how they're effective against lighter units like archers and such. But East Asia is not meant for sieges. You cannot fight a siege with East Asia. It's almost impossible. Look at this. Again, Mamelukes wipe the army with the AoE attacks. Not even in a... Those are fully upgraded samurai too. Now luckily, he does go on the attack. Unfortunately though, he doesn't really see much. However, looks like right here, he doesn't have a lot of workers. Or I'm sorry, a lot of defenses. He doesn't have any towers. So we're going to see probably just a butchery of this. Now, the one good thing about, however, East Asia is the fact they can spam out units in case they are attacked. Oh, right here. Perfect. But unfortunately, he has to be careful. Oh, look at that! A few swipes killed this many workers. Well, let's count them actually real quick. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. It looks like 11 workers died in that at one attack. Try to build a wall. I see what he's trying to do. They're just running around. Look at that. Oh, the sheer amount of butchery. Now that this gives him way more time to get resources. You see, he's already getting elephants, so this is giving him a lot of time. So this is amazing right here, because even just a small force to distract him, to cause chaos in their back lines, is more than enough, can give you more than enough time. Almost all the time, it can give you just more than enough time. If an opponent is so focused in trying to keep cavalry, especially, from running circles around their base, it can really buy you the time you need, especially now since especially since you lost especially since Cool lost so many units, so many workers. He was able to actually make it to late medieval, and also get enough elephants and Mamelukes up, and even cause significant damage. Right here, the Sitbacks are still running around. The food eco is always important when dealing with East Asia. Food eco, whenever you get a chance of destroying East Asians' food economy, oh, you won already. There is no coming back from getting wiped, from your food getting wiped. I see right here too, Green decided to make a push. Unfortunately, he chose I want to say this is the wrong area, but this is also not the right area to make a push. However, it doesn't really matter. 4 Mamelukes should probably wipe this entire army by themselves. If the Mamelukes actually fought, instead of just stood there. I think the Mamelukes... Okay, so this is actually a problem I've been having too. Do the Mamelukes just not attack sometimes? They're just sometimes just glitch and just don't attack. But when they do, look at that. Immediately just wiped. And you also got Elephant Bashibazooks, which is really, really good. Now, I'm just gonna point out one thing. All he really needed, okay, cool. All you really needed was elephants. Now I understand why you got Sitbacks, because you kind of needed it. But in reality, East Asia, the #1 thing they are horrible at is dealing with enemy armor. And yeah, just this right here. The 4 elephants themselves could have just killed literally anything thrown at you for East Asia. I'm not even kidding you. The AoE attack on an elephant rammer as well as the armor makes it impossible for your opponent to for anyone in East Asia to actually win. Let me see right here. He also makes a daring push straight into the back lines. This is obviously an attempt to break someone. However, it's kind of hard to break someone when their military is still... Oh, here. When an attack like this happens, when you push straight into the back lines and start destroying as much as possible, it's an attempt to break you. An attempt to weaken you for as much as possible. However, when the opponent's army is still so very close... Like, this is a fully functional army right here still. Look at this. Look at this. Not even a chance. Not even a chance. Elephants are ridiculously overpowered when it comes to this. They have no equal, really, except full-on archer fire. If you can get... An elephant gets close range to you, especially elephant rammers with their AoE attacks, it's gone. Now, something interesting this guy does do, he gets turtle ships, which is a really stupid... This is a stupid decision. Honest to God, this was probably the dumbest decision this person could have made. I understand what he was trying to do, but by God, this was probably the dumbest one out of all the decisions he's ever made. There was literally no point of getting turtle ships. And let's take a look at his economy. Look at this. His economy is ruined. He's trying to get industrial. Which, I mean, to be fair, industrial is probably the only thing that could probably save him at this point. But he ruined his economy by spamming out so many units. And right here, he quits. He realizes. He realizes he lost. This right here, this army itself, the 4 elephants themselves probably could have wiped anything thrown at you, because the armor on the elephants is so ridiculous. 8.9 average armor thickness. Yeah, and this full-on archer fire, focused archer fire, that's the only thing that could counter an elephant. If you go Asia, at least. Europe has more options available to them, but when you're fighting Asia versus Asia, if you're fighting elephants, you better be spamming out those archers, because that's the only thing that can destroy elephants effectively. Or any form of like armored, like cannons, they could do it too. Horses cannot, unless you completely surround the elephant. But yeah, this was an actually amazing comeback. He not only managed to buy himself enough time, but he managed to survive basically 3 onslaughts that would have crippled anyone else, which is really good. He also managed to get these elephants. Now the elephants were probably, again, the smart decision. And the Mamelukes, I would have planned to make Mamelukes as Sipax. However, using them to disrupt enemy eco is the best use for them. Any form of cavalry, like honestly, any form of cavalry can disrupt your opponent's economy. But only 4 Sipax was able to just ruin this guy's economy and buy him enough time to actually get these elephants, which is smart. Now, it was also, this guy tried some desperate measures, but he really should not have focused so heavily into barracks or spearmen. Into barracks. Like, there was no point of him getting that many barracks, constantly spamming out troops. He should have dug in for a siege. Honestly, that would have been the one thing that would have been effective. Because right here, like, he should have built towers here, surrounding this area. That would have been the number one thing to destroy someone. Just surround them with a siege and prevent them from escaping. Build up your economy. Play SimCity, essentially, but keeping all your forces here. Just surround them. Deny them the metal, especially since he only had 1 node. Now, depending on what node it was, it would have brought him to medieval. I'm sorry, to industrial. If he had just specifically saved it. But he should have, dug in for a siege, get some cannons, etc., and prevent him from getting any form of siege equipment. And just spamming out archers too. Again, there's a lot of things he could have done differently in this situation. He should have just dug in for a siege like he originally did, and just surrounded his base. But however, this was an amazing opportunity to break out of this siege. Amazing opportunity for Cool, that he was able to actually break the siege that was set up here, and actually managed to have enough resources, especially, to actually continue pushing. And the Mamelukes themselves, again, they were what saved him. Honestly, that was what saved him. Those Mamelukes really came into play, especially against East Asia. Now, East Asia is amazing. Again, like I said, West Asia, amazing at dealing with infantry. Really, any form of infantry. East Asia is great against light units, but it's mainly East Asia's main strength is in its navy. It is not on land, which East Asia has its greatest strength. It's its navy. But yeah, there's a lot of things that people could have done differently. Green should have, went in for a siege, get some cannons and such, build up his economy. But Cool, great use of upgrades, upgrading Mamelukes, and then using Sipax to disrupt the enemy lines. But yeah, that has been my video. Cool, thank you for sending me this. And again, if you have any replays as cool as this, be sure to send them to me in my Discord. I will leave a link down in the description. Until then, goodbye.